Hi everyone. Thanks for coming to join me for this Yin practice today. A little bit of a different begin to the practice. I'd like to begin standing. Take a big breath, stretch up, stretch your whole body. And then on an exhale, come down to a forward fold with nice soft knees. Catch opposite elbows with your hands and let your head, your upper body hang loose for ragdoll pose. I know it's not a usual pose to be on our feet to begin a Yin practice, but I do find that this is a nice way to start sometimes. Really helps you to check in with yourself, to find the places in your body where you might be feeling tight or might be feeling that need a little bit of extra care. Just by gently stretching out the back of the body, we can connect with ourselves. You can sway a little bit here, very gently, almost like your head is a pendulum dropping at the end of the spine. Breathe deeply. Use the first few moments of the practice to relax your mind. Bring your focus and attention to yourself and to your activity on the mat. Dropping your fingertips to the mat now. Come up on the toes and drop your hips down next to your heels. Stretch out the bottom of the feet. And then make your way to your seat, the legs extended. Scoot your hips to the middle of the mat and then lower all the way down to the mat. Settle your spine onto the mat. And then bring your right knee into your chest. Left knee can stay bent with the sole of the foot on the mat, or extend that leg long. Wherever you are, keep it resting. Just pulling that right knee into the chest, stretching at the back of your hip, your glutes. You can give the ankle a couple of turns here. If you're enjoying this stretch, stay right like this. Or if you want, you can move to a happy baby pose by bringing the right knee out towards the side of the body, towards your armpit, and holding on to the back of the leg, the outside of the calf, the ankle, or even the pinky toe side of your feet, your right foot. What I want you to caution you about is to make sure that your right ankle is directly above your right knee here, so that as you're pulling down, you're pulling straight down on that knee, not on an angle. If it's hard to reach, because we do want to keep the upper body soft, heavy, relaxed. If it's hard to reach up, if you find that you're straining in your shoulders or your neck, your chest, or anywhere really, take a lower grip. If you really like the sensation of holding the foot, you can get a strap here and wrap that around the top of your foot and just hold on to the strap so you don't have to reach up so far. Just really getting a nice stretch in the back of the right leg, the hip. Try to keep the entire spine down on the mat here. The whole back of the sacrum, so the left hip might want to lift up and roll over onto your right hip. Try and keep that whole sacrum down on the mat. So you're getting a real stretch, not just rolling over onto that right side. When you're ready to move out of this pose, draw your right knee back in towards your chest. Give it a little hug. And we're going to move into a supine twist. So the right hand comes out from the shoulder 90 degrees, and let the right knee draw across your body over to the left, coming down to towards the mat or the floor. Try and keep your right shoulder blade down on the mat here. The right knee might make it to the mat or the floor, or maybe you want to tuck a block in underneath it. It's really hanging out in the air. If there's some discomfort there, you really want to release all muscular tension here. And feel this beautiful twist in the spine, stretch in the right side body. You can bring this twist in the spine right up to this, through the neck and the cervical spine by drawing your chin towards your right shoulder. Easy breathing here and relaxation. I want this to feel really good. When you're ready to come out of this pose, draw the right knee back up to center, spine down onto the mat. You can bring both knees into your chest, give them a little hug, and then extend the right leg long. Draw your left knee into the chest. Stay there, or move to happy baby. Remember to keep the back of your right hip down on the mat. I like to put my fingers of my right fingers onto my right hip bone, just to remind myself not to roll over to the left. Holding the left ankle directly over the left knee. Relaxing the upper body as much as possible. the twist. Draw the left knee into the chest. Give it a little hug. And then draw the left knee over to the right. Left hand comes out to the side. Using the weight of the left leg to enhance the twist in your spine. Nice, easy, deep, and even breathing here. Notice the effect of your breath on this pose. The inhale opens the muscles in and around your rib cage. Exhale, on the exhale you're grounded a little more deeply, twisting a little more fully, relaxing the whole time. Drawing the left knee back into the chest now. Settle the spine down onto the mat. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. Just opening up the backs of the hips. Feeling the spine lengthen. Maybe you feel the breath moving through your body. Your belly presses up onto the thighs on the inhale. Sinks down towards the mat on the exhale. Now from the nape of your neck to your tailbone, using the weight of your legs to bring you up. Not really a traditional yin pose, but it feels really good. If you don't like it, make your way to seated any way you like, with the legs extended. Nice long spine. Reach the fingertips up, and on an exhale, move forward for length. Begin with length, reaching the hands forward, reaching for anywhere along the outside of your legs, ankles, feet. You can shimmy the hips from side to side, drawing your sits bones back further behind you. Nice big inhale, and then exhale. You can round the spine, and as you round the spine, I want you to let go of the legs or feet or wherever you're holding on, and let gravity draw your nose down towards your legs. So when we have a nice flat back and we're reaching forward, it's fine to be holding on to the legs and maybe extending the spine and drawing yourself a little bit further forward. But when we round the spine and drop down, we want to stop. We don't want to be pulling anymore. Just allowing gravity to draw us further down into the pose. And you may find as we hold this pose that you will just naturally drop, your face will naturally just drop a little closer to your legs. Use time, gravity, and then finally your breath to find a deeper expression of this pose. So you may find on the inhale, your back body lightens and maybe even pull a little bit out of the pose. And then on your exhale, you drop a little bit deeper. Allow the upper body to become very heavy here. Surrender into the pose. If this is really hard for you, you can take a block or a pillow and put it across your shins or between your shins, and drop your forehead down onto it for a little bit of support. Just continue the breath. Ready to move out of this pose, move very slowly, using your hands to support you. Bring the shoulders back up over the hips. We're going to make our way to a tabletop position. Right in the center of the mat. Bring the knees under the hips, shoulders over the wrists, and move the spine, undulate the spine in a cat-cow. Rounding the spine on the exhale, inhaling, dropping the belly towards the floor. Just moving the spine. Feeling the movement. Start at the tailbone, draw it all the way up, right to the crown of the head. Inhaling to stretch the front of the body. Exhaling to round the spine, broaden the shoulders. And when you've had enough of that, crawl your hands forward and lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. Rest the tops of your toes on the mat. And we're going to do a shoulder stretch. So bring your right hand out 90 degrees from the shoulder, palm facing up. Begin to press your left hand into the mat, raising the left shoulder up and getting a really nice stretch in the front of the right shoulder. You're aiming to stack the left shoulder over the right here. You can bend your left leg, plant that foot on the mat behind your right leg. You can leave your left hand supporting you on the mat in front of you, or you can reach it up high. Turn your hand, your palm facing the same direction as your back, and let that gravity drop that hand down towards your right hand. Maybe they'll meet, maybe they won't. This is a very deep stretch. Your head is sort of hanging there. You can take advantage of that and get a little stretch in the left side of your neck, or if you're uncomfortable, take a block or a pillow and just tuck it in underneath your head for some support. Nice easy breathing here. Feeling that full stretch across the front of the right shoulder, maybe right across the front of your chest. Ready to move out of this pose, move very slowly. Begin by bringing the left hand up and then placing it down on the mat in front of your chest for support as you roll your hips, your chest back down onto the mat. Take a little cobra here, realign the spine, and then we'll work on the other side. Bring the left hand out 90 degrees from the shoulder, palm facing up. Press into the right hand to stack the right shoulder over the left. And then choose your option here. Maybe the hands clasp behind you. Maybe the right foot comes to the mat behind the right leg, behind the left leg. Knowing that this side of your body might be quite different from the other side, you may choose a different option than you did on the first side. You may feel tighter or looser. What I'd like you to do is resist the urge to call one side or the other side of your body the bad side. It's not bad or good, it's just the other side, and yes, it's different. So the point here is to get to know yourself, to find the areas of where there might be more tension, and learn to release those areas. There's no need to choose the same option on both sides. No need to make one side act like the other or have the same experience on each side of your body. So use this as an opportunity to get to know yourself just a little bit better. And relax, breathe into the pose. Please move very slowly as you come out of this pose. Begin by supporting yourself with your right hand on the mat as you roll your hips, your shoulders, your chest down towards the mat. Take a moment, see how you feel after you've stretched out both sides. Then you can take a little baby cobra here, elbows bent, opening the front of the body. Nice easy breath. If you want a little more sensation, you can bring the elbows towards straight, walk the hands in towards the body. A little back bend here. If you're feeling any unpleasant sensation in the low back, I caution you to reduce your back bend, come back down, even onto elbows. And notice that the neck is neutral here, that we're not throwing the head back, but keeping it in line with the spine. Lower all the way back down to the mat, and then we can make our way to child's pose with the knees wide, big toes together. Reach the hands forward. Rest your forehead down on the mat. And exhale to sink the heels, the hips close to your heels. Once you're here, you can even turn your palms up to resist the temptation to press into the mat with your upper body. Fully relax here, opening the back body, neutralizing the spine after that back bend. Feel the belly drop between the thighs on the inhale as we fill the body with air. And then the navel draws up towards the spine on the exhale. Nice easy breathing. Again, if there's any discomfort here, feel free to grab a block or a pillow and place it underneath your forehead so you don't have to come down so far. We definitely are looking for full relaxation here. No movement in the body, except for the movement caused by the breath. you're ready to move out of this pose, come back to tabletop. Curl your toes under behind you. And walk your hands in towards your knees, bringing your hips over your heels. Just stretch out the bottom of your feet. You might want to reach back, bring those baby toes into the party. Make sure they're curled under as well. And bring the hips over the heels. Try and raise your spine directly up out of the pelvis. Shoulders are balanced over the hips. Crown of the head is high. Really getting a nice deep stretch to the bottom of the feet. And I know that this is intense. This can be a really intense stretch. Really a great thing to do for anyone who might spend any kind of time on their feet. Wonderful thing to do for your feet every day. If it's too intense for you, feel free to lean forward with the shoulders. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Try and keep your hips over the heels and just taking some of that weight away, or stand up tall on your knees, taking some of that weight away from the feet but keeping the toes curled under. Another thing you can do if you have a block is raise the knees up and press them on a block. And you might find that that's a little bit less strain on the toes. Just a few more breaths here. And then bring your fingertips down to the mat in front of your knees and roll slowly over those feet, really opening the fascia. Bring the feet as wide as your mat, maybe heels on the mat, toes off the mat so they're pointed out a little bit. And then sink the hips down towards the mat, coming into a low yogi squat with the elbows between the knees, hands at prayer position. Now again, if this is really uncomfortable, if your heels don't make it to the floor or to the mat, that's not a big deal. You can have your heels be up. If that's uncomfortable, you can roll up a towel or the back of your mat and slip them under your heels for a little bit of support. Again, if you feel unsteady and that you are unable to comfortably hold this pose, you can take a block or a pillow, put it underneath your hips. Drop the fingertips to the mat now and raise the hips up towards the sky. And come back to that ragdoll pose that we began the practice with. Taking opposite elbows. Shining the hip bones, the sits bones up towards the sky. Let the head be heavy. And just take a moment here to notice how this pose feels after we've opened the hips, opened the shoulders, lengthened the spine. Maybe you have a little more length in the spine here. Maybe the knees can come a little straighter. Maybe it's easier to surrender the weight of your upper body down towards the mat. Maybe you find it a little bit easier to breathe deeply in this pose. Drop your hands to the mat. Support yourself as you bring your hips back down over your heels and then walk the hands forward. Make your way to a seated position, sliding your hips to the center of the mat, and then lower yourself all the way down onto the mat, letting the spine rest once again on the mat. Hands come to hips, palm facing out. Draw your feet down to the bottom of the mat. Let the toes fall open for Savasana. You might want to curl your shoulder blades in underneath you. And take this next few moments to take stock of yourself. Begin at your toes. Bring your awareness up through your body, paying attention to anywhere where you may have a new sensation, feel new space or vibration. If there's anywhere that has any remaining tension. So linger there. Send your breath. Allow that area to relax, melt into the mat. And continue until you're fully relaxed. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that you come to my channel, you use my practices. If you enjoy, please subscribe to my channel. It really is the very best way for you to support me and help me to continue making these classes. Until next week.